In today's session of Divorce Court, Jimmy Vervey says he tried to be a good father even while his marriage to Julie was crumbling.
I found a letter that she's cheated on me.
There was no letter.
I was trying to work it out for 5 months with her, Your Honor, begging and pleading her for the sake of our children.
I'm ending the marriage because he is not responsible.
I took care of him when you were out screwing around.
He claims he may not be the father of Julie's 2 daughters.
I have doubts in it because you've been sleeping around with so many men.
I have not.
Yes, you have.
You know that the girls are yours.
But Julie says he's just trying to worm his way out of paying child support.
I have never said that they were not yours. I have never done anything to make you believe that.
Jimmy demanded a paternity test and says he won't pay a dime until he gets the results.
And you know that they're yours. You just wanted to do it just to have something to say.
Now Julie Vervey and Jimmy Vervey get the paternity test results in today's session of Divorce Court.
All rise. Court is now in session. Maybelline Ephraim presiding. You may be seated.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen. This is the matter of Julie Vervey versus Jimmy Vervey. I understand that you were able to live together and date for 2 years, but now that you've married, it's coming to an end. Why, Mrs. Vervey?
Basically, my husband doesn't want to be responsible for anything in our marriage, our bills, our children.
Your Honor.
And it's time that he
I've
does.
always been responsible, Your Honor.
So what does she mean when she say you don't? Well, first of all, Mr. Vervey, you cut her off while she was talking.
I'm sorry,
so
Your Honor.
let me give you a few rules. No talking when she's talking or when I'm talking, one at a time.
Yes,
all
Your
right?
Honor.
Everybody says she's lying. That's not true. I have to judge the credibility, but only when I can hear both sides.
Yes, Your Honor.
So you said that he doesn't want to be responsible for the children and the finances. What do you mean by that? That's a lot.
Well, now he says this month, since we've been separated for 16 to 18 months, that the kids are not his. And he doesn't want to pay bills. He doesn't want to pay for the kids.
The children that were his before you separated?
Oh, yeah. I have plenty of pictures of him with them, him calling me to see them, and I said, okay, come and get them. Well, never mind. I don't think they're mine anyway.
Now, all of a sudden, they're not his children.
That's not
Right.
true, Your Honor.
And he puts them
Since
through
the
it.
separation,
Oh, yeah.
I take it there must be a child support order.
Yes, ma'am. Court-ordered wage garnishment.
So now they're not his children, and you're not so sure about it. What's that all about, Mr. Vervey? Now it's your turn to talk.
The reason why I'm not so sure about it, Your Honor, is that I found a letter when we were still together that she's cheated on me.
Who'd you find the letter from?
Her,
And what'd the letter say?
saying that such and such person was involved in a sexual act with her, and she said it was
That is not true.
such a great time that I want to see you again. I want you to be the father of my children. Since this man here is not speaking towards me, that I'm not responsible enough. If I wasn't so responsible, Your Honor, why would I get a truck driving job
Well,
so I can...
you're saying you found a letter written in your wife's own handwriting
Yes,
to
ma'am.
another man?
Yes, ma'am.
Asking him to be the father of her children?
Yes,
That is
ma'am.
not true.
And where is that letter now?
I don't know what she's done with it now.
Oh,
but
you didn't keep it?
No, ma'am.
Did you confront her then?
Yes, I did.
And what did she say?
She said, yes, I cheated with it, cheated on you with him.
Was this before or after you separated? This is why you're still living in the same house?
Yes, ma'am.
No,
And she
Yes,
said
ma'am.
yes.
Yes, ma'am.
What about this letter, Mrs. Vervey?
there was no letter.
So he's making this all up?
This was after we were separated that he even brought it up.
Well, was
I
there a
mean-
letter or was there not a letter?
There was not a letter asking anybody to be the father of my children. That's him.
There was
He
never,
knows it,
there was
I know
never
it.
a letter.
No.
So you're saying all this is make-believe?
He brought something up after we had been separated. It was before Christmas time.
No, Your
And that was the first time
And
you'd ever
I'm
heard?
sorry.
he
that
was
was
already
wrong.
with somebody else then, so.
So he's trying to point the finger your way? Is that what you're saying?
I was trying to work it out for 5 months with her, Your Honor, begging and pleading her for the sake of our children, that for us to stay together and try to work it out. But no, she said that since you don't want to be responsible enough, how much more responsible can I be, Your Honor, that I would
Please, you were already
sacrifice
with somebody
Mrs.
else.
Vervey, same rule for you.
that I would
Sorry.
sacrifice my time with my children and my family to go out on the road and make money and have insurance and everything, then come home and come to find out, oh, I miss you so much, but yet she would go out and say, well, you're watching the children tonight and I'm going out.
Well, what do you mean when you go out? What kind of work were you doing?
I'm an over-the-road driver, Your Honor.
So you're out on the road driving.
5 days a week.
Trying to take care of your family and support them.
Yes, ma'am.
And then when you come home, you have to babysit or take care of the children.
Yes, ma'am.
And you're saying that he's irresponsible? Doesn't sound irresponsible to me. What do you mean?
Didn't put him to bed on time. Didn't feed him dinner on time. I mean,
this is what I'm talking about, Your Honor.
So what is
anything? He's putting a 1-year-old to bed at 10:30 at night.
Where were you?
I was home.
You had to think about that.
No, I didn't have to think about it.
So you want to end the marriage because of that? There are so many people that wouldn't feed him at all.
No, I don't want to end the marriage because of that. I'm ending the marriage because he is not responsible.
He goes to work every day, 5 days a week as a truck driver. That's not responsible?
I worked every day also. I also took the kids to daycare.
So tell me what else that makes him irresponsible.
He didn't pay the bills.
What bills?
Any of them.
Your Honor.
So who paid the bills?
Your Honor, she made $200 a week. I bring home almost $700 a week. Who is paying the bills?
Why are you now saying these children are yours? Because of the letter that you found?
No, there's been
the alleged letter, because she denies that.
Your Honor, before I even got off the road, when I quit my job, she had another man move in before I was even out of the house or got my stuff out of the house.
That is not true. I was living with my mother.
Yes, your mother.
Nobody lived there but me and Mom and the girls.
Now, this is totally ridiculous that you're this far apart. I see two people sitting here. Can somebody else tell me whether she's living with someone or she has a roommate?
She lives
Hold
with
on a
someone.
second. What's your name?
Trisha.
Trisha what?
And he lives with her.
Just
Yeah, but we don't deny it.
Miss
We're not lying.
Compton,
Yes,
is that your
ma'am.
name?
Yes,
You're
ma'am.
talking to me. I
Okay.
asked you the question, not her.
Okay.
What do you know about the situation? Is she living with anyone?
Yes, she certainly is.
Or is it a roommate or a relationship?
They share a bedroom, so yeah, they're
How do you know that?
roommates. Jimmy has been in the house before when he's picked up the girls. She showed him the house that he wanted to know where the girls lived. She took him inside and gave him a
That's
tour.
more than he ever
And that's
told me
why
about you all.
And he saw the house. But she's known that we've lived together since the day that we moved in. He never
And when was
never
that?
lied.
When I
She's-
was still living at my mother's house,
Mrs.
where
Verby?
he's saying somebody.
Mrs. Verby, the question was, were you living with anyone? And you said no.
When I was living at my mother's house, he said I had somebody move in, and I did not. When I moved out, I do rent from someone. It is a man. He has his children there. This is my rental agreement. I have my own bedroom.
Did he tell you those weren't his children?
He's had doubts. He's told me that since the day that I've met him. He's had doubts, but he's never had money to do a DNA. He has a hard time with Julie.
I just want to
As
be
you can see, there's a very
sure,
hard.
Your Honor. I don't care how
He
much
put
money
them
I
through all-
spend.
All right.
There can
One
be
of
no.
you at a time,
there can
please.
be no compromise. She won't be reasonable. If we didn't give her 24-hour notice, he went to pick the girls up. They're not there. I've asked her one
So
time
now
before.
the children are being part of this game.
Yeah.
Yes.
The children are the ones getting hurt because they
I
cry.
haven't seen
They want
my
to see their
children
daddy.
in 2.5 months.
I
All
thought
right,
they
thank you,
weren't your
Mrs.
children.
Compton. So now he can't see the children, of course, unless he does it on your terms.
Or if I pay
All he has
her
to do
money.
is call ahead of time so that I know he's coming. I have
And
told
how
the
much
girls
time does he have to call? How much time does he have to give?
at least 24 hours.
At least 24 hours notice.
That's all.
Why?
So that I can have their stuff ready. And
It takes you 24 hours to get their stuff ready.
no, they go to daycare, and I need to tell the daycare that he's coming to pick them up.
And all you have to do
tell
is
the
call
girls
them and
that they're
tell them.
coming.
No, that's an excuse. Now that one is an excuse. And I know that game.
When divorce court returns, Julie's witness gives damaging testimony about Jimmy.
You said he quit his job so he wouldn't have to pay?
You got it. Told her right
Your
there.
Honor.
Let me deal with that.
And the paternity test results are in.
Let me look at the test results. You may not have to pay anything.
If you would like to have the judge hear your case in divorce court, call us toll-free at 1-877-311-2222 or email us at www.divorcecourttv.com. Divorce court is back in the case of Julie Verby, who says her husband Jimmy is trying to get out of paying child support by now saying he's not the father of their children.
You need to stop playing games with the children and don't make them part of this. But the more
haven't
importantly,
been, Your Honor.
you're saying that they're not your children. You're acting inconsistently.
I'm not saying that they're not my children. I'm
Well,
saying
Then
I
why
say-
did they go through a DNA test? Got
Because
stuck
I
5
have
times
doubts in it.
screaming for you.
I have doubts in it
Screaming
because
for
you've been
you.
sleeping around with so many men.
I have not.
Yes, you have.
You know
It's
that
not
the
even-
girls are yours.
You know, when you
know
get
that.
married.
You didn't have to be there while they were screaming for you and they were sticking them
Yeah,
with
that's
needles.
right. Screaming for me. Because I took care of them
That's
when
why
you
you
were out
wanted them to
screwing
go
around.
through this. That's why you wanted them to go through this.
That's right, because I
And
want to make
you know that
sure
they're yours. You just wanted
I
to
wanna
do
make
it just
sure
to have something
that
to say.
they can call me daddy for the rest of their life, not call me daddy now, and 5 years down the line, you saying that, oh, by the way, thanks for all the money, but,
said that they were not yours. I have never done anything to make you believe that. You know that the girls love you.
Now that you've taken the DNA test, how would you feel if it turns out that they're not yours?
It would hurt me very badly, Your Honor.
Would you spend, how old are these children? Now.
They're 2 and 3, Your Honor.
So would you continue to spend time with them and be
yes.
a father to them, even if they're not yours?
Yes, Your Honor.
But you wouldn't have to pay the support.
I would still give something for them.
But you just want to be sure.
But you're not paying it now.
Your Honor.
You quit your job so you wouldn't have to pay.
How would it feel if it turns out that he's not the father?
I know he's the father.
You said he quit his job so he wouldn't have to pay?
You got it. Told her right there.
Your Honor.
Oh, come forward. Let me deal with that. What's your name?
Relissa
Relissa what?
Loomis.
What can you tell me about that? She says he quit his job so he wouldn't have to pay child support. What do you know about that?
First of all, I went to his house earlier that day to see how he and his wife could work things out so the kids could spend time with him.
She sent her over.
Oh, hold on, Mr. Verby.
And he said, well, my old job wasn't paying enough, so I quit.
Well, that's right.
So he said your old job wasn't paying enough and
Yes.
he quit.
And
Yeah,
then later that night when I talked to him on the phone, he said that he really quit his job because he didn't feel like he had to pay that much money for his children.
All right. Anything else you want to add to this?
Yes, he never said that the kids were not his. He
This
never
is the first
said
time
that.
you've heard that? Too?
Yes.
And
he
you've
has
known
never
him ever
said
since
it.
the children were
Your
born?
Honor.
Yes, ma'am.
Before
I've
that.
told her that I have
thank
had
you.
doubts for a
may
very
have a
long
seat.
time.
You never told me.
Why
you
should
quit
I tell
this
you?
month?
Did
You
quit
ask in the
well,
same
why
breath?
should you tell her? Because she's your wife. And all of a sudden, now that you're separating and about to get a support order or have one, and
Your
the
Honor.
children are 2 and 4, suddenly you're claiming that they're not yours. If you had any doubts, you should have said it from the beginning.
Your Honor, I've confronted her about such things like that, and she goes, I can't believe you can even conceive of me about it.
Did you quit
at
your
them.
job to keep from paying support or what?
No, Your Honor, I did not.
You took the DNA test, and both of you are trying to figure out if this is your children. And if it is, what do you want from me?
I want him to pay the child support and pay for half of the girls' daycare expenses.
Child support is coming out of his paycheck.
I haven't gotten any.
Well, you have to talk to the district attorney because
I
it's
already
right
have.
here. The last check stub, it shows that they deducted for child support.
And what about all that he didn't pay while he wasn't working and before when he was supposed to start paying?
From the time he had an order, if he didn't pay, do you have it calculated?
Yes, ma'am.
The order, from the date the order was made?
Yes, ma'am.
Your Honor, I also have here receipts of, I was
Let me
given-
look at the test results because it may not have to pay anything. The probability of paternity is 99.98% that Mr. Vervey is the father of these children.
Thank you.
You're not
very
excluded
much.
as a biological
That's
father.
fine. At least I know now.
You knew before, and you put them through that.
And now it's
They-
99. That was on one child, Jenny. Now it's 99.99% on the other child, Jesse.
That makes
And
me
you knew
very
that.
happy. Yes, Your Honor.
I've been around a long time, been doing family law a long time, and that's a typical response when it's time for support and people are angry. I'm not sure that they're mine. The kids are 2 years old and 4 years old. If your wife was cheating on you or you thought she was, and there was somebody else involved, you could have had this test a long time ago. You could have
Your
had it
Honor.
as soon as they were born.
Your Honor.
At the hospital on the day each of them was born, you could have asked the doctor to pull some blood and do a blood test. Because he already had hers, and all you had to do was give him yours. That could have been done then.
He's
That's
done
part of
this
the game
before.
plan.
He has done this before. He's got another son that he had to have a paternity test for.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's like when it's time to pay,
haven't
then it's
seen-
like, I'm not
No,
sure
Your
if it's
Honor.
mine.
When divorce court returns, the judge renders her verdict and an update on the case of Shannon Peacock versus Joshua Peacock.
When you're having sexual intercourse with your husband and he calls you another name, that's a problem.
Divorce court will be back in session in a moment. Divorce court is back and the verdict is in the case of Jimmy Vervey, who has just found out he is the father of his wife Julie's 2 children, and now he must pay child support.
What else are you asking for? For child care?
Yes, ma'am. I'm only asking him to pay half of it. We both work. I also go to school, and we have to have daycare expenses.
She does not even
You
work
can even
right
ask
now,
him.
Your Honor.
Where do you work?
She got fired from her job.
Where
That's
do you
not
work?
true. I work
Mrs. Compton over there, you need to be quiet. I've given you your say.
Okay.
And you need to take a lesson from this. Because he's married to this woman, had 2 babies by her at 2 separate occasions. And then when it came time to pay, I'm not sure if they're mine. You need to be careful. Because if he did it to her, when you have yours, he's probably going to do the same thing. I don't know if it's mine. You can shake your head if you want to, but I know better. Been there too many times.
Okay. I mean, this is just a different incident.
I didn't ask you to talk.
Okay.
You think it's so different and you think you're such a better woman.
No.
But you need to know that that's a character trait of Mr. Vervey. So you're likely to be the next one that he questions whether he's the father of that child. Now, are you working or not?
Yes, ma'am. I work 2 days a week on campus, and I work 3 days a week subbing at the daycare.
And how many hours a week do you work?
About 15.
And you're in school?
Yes, ma'am.
And with the child support and the spousal support he's paid, you think he should pay additional money for child care?
Yes.
While you go to school and work part-time?
Yes.
And why do you think so?
Because they are his responsibility. Why, if daycare was not included, was he paying child support and daycare expenses before this?
Before what?
Before he just stopped paying everything.
So you already have a child support order for which includes daycare?
She wants more
It does
money,
not
Your Honor.
include daycare.
You're asking this court to overturn another court's order. And that court already came to the conclusion that there is not enough money to go around to pay all the expenses. You said that when you were living together. There wasn't enough money to go around to pay everything. What has changed now that you're separated? It's still not enough money to go around to pay all the expenses. But the court made a finding and made some orders for child support. This court can't overturn that. The court clearly stated that they were aware of your daycare expenses. And they were aware of all of your other expenses. They were aware of your income. They were aware of his income. Are you still at $700 a month?
No.
You went down to less?
Yes.
Knowing that there wasn't enough money to go around all together?
Yes.
That's a choice you made. You made a choice. Knowing that you don't have enough money, he didn't have enough money to pay everything, you wanted to go back to school, that's a sacrifice. Sometimes it means that you have to work more hours to go back to school since you have 2 children and not enough money. And I'm not trying to be unsympathetic to you. I went to school and worked too.
He hasn't paid any of our joint bills and nothing from when we were still married.
Okay, now what's the bills then? You didn't talk to me about that.
I've got them all right here.
Have you told her them?
Yes.
She has all the stuff that we ever purchased, okay? And yet, she wants me to pay for all that stuff so she can have it. So she wouldn't have to pay for any of it.
You gonna give him some of the items?
I don't have it. He bought a CD player for his truck. I don't have his truck.
Okay, that was not before the court. I was gonna deal with it if I could, but that's all right. I made my orders. Bye.
When divorce court returns, an update on the case of Shannon Peacock versus Joshua Peacock.
I'm talking about an STD that he passed toward me.
That caused your little girl to die.
That's exactly right.
Closed captioning for divorce court provided by. If you would like to have the judge hear your case in divorce court, call us toll-free at 1-877-311-2222 or email us at www.divorcecourttv.com. And now for an update on a previous case in divorce court. Shannon said she never intended to be with Joshua forever.
It was going to be a one-night stand, that was it.
Oh my gosh.
He asked me the night that we met if I would marry him.
Where you been living, in a cave?
When you're having sexual intercourse with your husband and he calls you another name, that's a problem.
She's a lunatic.
The first night that I met him, he lied and told me that he had practiced a lot of safe sex.
Now, you didn't go for that one, did you?
Yep, sure did.
How do you know that was a lie?
I'm talking about an STD that he passed toward me.
That
and
caused your little girl to die?
That's exactly right.
What was the STD that caused your little girl to die?
Syphilis.
Shannon said Joshua wrote hundreds of dollars worth of bad checks on her account. The judge decided that they were each responsible for half the amount. Shannon is now engaged and plans to get married in September. Joshua has also found a girlfriend. Now that Shannon is out of the picture, he says he has a steady job and just got a big raise.
I think that Jimmy knows that the DNA test was just a ploy to try to hurt me, hurt his children, and he still doesn't care.
I think the verdict was pretty fair.
He'll quit this job, he'll quit job after job just so he doesn't have to pay for them.
I always have been the support of my children.
I hope he's satisfied. I hope he knows what his children had to go through for me to be here today.